Hey everyone, before we jump into today's video, I wanted to give you a quick heads up, and maybe even a reason to get a little excited. In exactly 3 days, the weekly challenges in Dead Rails will reset. For me, that's going to happen on July 19th, but your timeline might look a bit different depending on where you live. If you're unsure, you can always head over to the official Dead Rails Discord and ask the question helpers. They'll point you in the right direction. Now, with this upcoming reset, there's also a solid chance we might get a patch update. I want to be clear, this isn't 100% confirmed or anything, but honestly, with how much the player base has been shrinking day by day, and the growing frustration in the community over the lack of consistent updates, I wouldn't be surprised if the devs decide to drop a surprise update to turn things around. People are already saying the game is dead, and if the devs are seeing that, I feel like they might just step in with something big to bring the spark back. Historically, we've gotten updates right after these challenge resets, so I'm hopeful, really hopeful, that they'll use this moment to breathe some life back into the game. But until then, I'm doing what I always do, diving into the most interesting community ideas posted in the official Discord. These suggestions come from fans who genuinely care about the future of Dead Rails. The more upvotes a suggestion gets, the more likely it is to catch a dev's eye, and maybe even make it into the game. So, if you enjoy these breakdowns and want to support the channel, please hit that subscribe button and stay until the end of the video. I'd love to hear your own concepts in the comments too. Let's get started. Kicking it off with my personal favorite concept. And yeah, it might sound OP at first, but hear me out. We're talking about a brand new form of transportation, the glider. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would we need a glider when we already have the train? But this isn't a permanent vehicle. It's a special event-only ride that adds a whole new layer of gameplay. Here's how it works. The glider only spawns during a windy weather event, which itself only has a 3% chance to trigger. And even if you do get that weather, the glider has its own tiny 1.75% spawn rate, so it's incredibly rare. But if you do manage to get both conditions lined up, you'll be able to fly around the map for as long as the windy event lasts. That could be a minute, or as long as 15 minutes. Now, the glider is slower than the armored train, about half as fast, right? And it'll automatically crash when the weather clears. But if you're lucky and the wind sticks around, you could theoretically make it all the way to the end of a match using just the glider. Of course, though, you'll still need gear to survive the final fights, so it's not a guaranteed win. It's rare, it's risky, and yes, it's super cool. Let me know in the comments what tweaks or additions you'd make to the glider concept, because I think it has real potential. Now onto the next idea, the Vampire Village. This is a nighttime-only location that appears exclusively during a blood moon. Once the village spawns, the blood moon won't go away until you defeat its boss, Dracula himself. This village is dark, creepy, and full of rare loot, but it comes at a price. Dracula is no ordinary enemy. He has more HP than a regular vampire, can teleport, go invisible, and every time he hits you, he steals your health. If you manage to defeat him, you'll earn his legendary cloak. This cloak grants you temporary invisibility when you're low on health, slowly heals you back to 50%, and comes with a passive ability that mimics all the vampire class traits, without the usual sunlight penalty. Once Dracula falls, the blood moon finally ends. Next up, a dangerous new mini-boss enemy, the Night Zombie. Think of him as a tankier, more armored version of the plated zombie. Except now he's wielding a massive sword that looks like a rusted Excalibur. His armor blocks almost all damage from normal attacks. The only way to kill him? Holy water, Molotovs, or the real Excalibur. He's a tough one, but totally beatable with the right tools. Let's move on to a suggestion straight from the official Discord: diverse landscapes and environmental mechanics. One player proposed we shake up the terrain with more than just desert and sand. Imagine bridges crossing rivers, deep canyons with tunnels running through them, or cliffs connected by narrow wooden planks. This would make the world feel way more dynamic and immersive. They also mentioned adding variation in track direction. Instead of just going straight forever, how about left or right turns at certain junctions? It could open up alternate routes or secret areas. And another cool idea, a train driving mechanic. Instead of just holding down W forever, how about using a lever system? Kind of like what you see in Choo Choo Charles. Not only would it be more realistic, but it would save our fingers during those long hauls. Here's another idea that I really liked. The blacksmith building. This wouldn't be a POI, but a new structure that either replaces an unused building and outposts or spawns in abandoned towns. Inside, you'd find crafting options that let you use leather, metal scraps, and wood scraps to create armor or weapons at a quarter of the normal price. The blacksmith NPC handles the crafting, and depending on where you find one, inside a secure outpost or a dangerous ruined village, the loot and chances differ. New armor types could include a leather cloak that makes mobs less likely to spot you, thorned armor that reflects melee damage, or a bulletproof vest that cuts range damage in half. You could even mix and match armor sets. And while we're talking about shops, why not give each one a proper dealer NPC? A sheriff in the sheriff's office? A doctor in the infirmary? A gunsmith? A trader? It would make the world feel more alive. Also, can we please get bonds added to Stillwater already? Here's another cool feature idea. A bribe system for bandits. You know how you can tame wolves with corpses? Well, what if you could bribe bandits using valuable items instead? If you pick up a valuable, not junk, and hit a new keybind to show the bandits you're offering it, they'll stop firing. You could also bribe them with guns, ammo, or even things like bandages or snake oil. And to expand on that, there's a second suggestion, a lasso tool. Only usable by the cowboy class, or maybe future ones. The lasso lets you catch almost anything, except vampires, of course. The throw force affects what you can catch, like a werewolf needing high power. If you lasso a bandit, they become a hostage, and other bandits might trade valuables or weapons to get their friend back. Before we wrap things up, there's one more suggestion I really want to highlight. And it's something I feel could genuinely help the community and the game grow long-term. Over on the official Discord, someone suggested that the devs create a dedicated channel specifically for update transparency. Not to drop full patch notes or anything, but just a simple way to let us know the current status of things, like, is an update in development? Is it in testing? Has it been temporarily paused? Having that kind of basic info, even just once a week, would go a long way in calming the community down and keeping the hype alive without creating unrealistic expectations. And while we're on the topic of improvements, we can't ignore class balance. Some classes really need a bit of a glow up. The zombie class? Basically collecting dust, and the necromancer could use some serious tweaks to bring it in line with the rest. These kinds of small changes could breathe new life into underused classes, and give players more variety when it comes to how they want to play the game. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. I had a lot of fun going through all these suggestions with you, and now I want to hear from you. Which idea was your favorite? Or do you have your own concept that deserves to be seen by the devs? Drop it in the comments below. I always love reading your thoughts. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your squad. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.